Most businesses making $1 million to $6 million waste thousands on ads when they first start running them. Not because the ads don't work, because they make three common mistakes. And I see this time and time again. Meta is really good at getting you to spend money with them on ads. They put nice little colored buttons. In fact, they are using the same psychology that I want you to start using when you run ads for your target prospect. The problem is, if you're spending money without fixing those, then you're burning cash, like lighting it on fire. So welcome back to another episode of the Chad T Podcast. This is the show for business owners that make $1 million to $6 million that aspire to grow to $12 million. Now, let's be clear. I can't make any income claims here, and the probability of most businesses ever reaching $12 million is astronomically low, even though, strangely enough, $40 million a year is still considered a small business. So just keep in mind, these aren't income claims. I have worked personally with businesses that are $40 million, as large as $700 million. So I've seen the operational round of things time and time again. If you're new to the channel, we talk about growing your business. We talk about running ads and generating leads to get you to double your revenue, to get you to hit those large goals that you have. And if you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping in. So let's get into it. I just got off an interview actually with a guy who runs a cleaning business, and we did a whole hour-long masterclass on how to start your ads. So I think that's going to publish on the same day that this one publishes. I'll try to put a link down in the description. But in this one, I just want to run through the three biggest mistakes, the three common mistakes that I've seen. And I've done this with a lot of guys now. I've done this with $6 million real estate investment property builders. I've done this with $1 million cleaning services. I was talking actually before that interview with an RV dealership. So they were doing about either $500,000 or $1 million per month. And they were trying to grow that, essentially double that revenue. So again, no income claims here. I just want you to understand that there is a real business world out there, and 12 million is pretty small, even though it's statistically speaking, it's hard for a lot of people to get there. So mistake number one is about not having clear tracking or pixel setup. And that's kind of tech speak. I did a little short video, it's a minute and a half, on what the actual pixel is, but that's tech speak for this little piece of code you could put at the bottom of your website. And the key on this is when your prospects reach a certain page or do a certain thing on your website, we want to stalk them around on all these platforms, right? Have you ever noticed I look for these a little necklace called tiny tags for my wife. When I go to the website, all of a sudden I get served all these ads. That's facilitated by the Facebook pixel. Now, I don't want to spend too much time in this episode talking about the how of the pixel. I just want you to understand that the concept of spending money on ads to make money back is only facilitated when you have what they call direct response targeting or direct response measuring. You have to know, you have to be able to track what this person did and then follow him or her around and then see if he or she ever converted into a lead or even converted into a sale. And this goes back to my corporate world. When I did sales and marketing operations, this is why companies paid me $300,000 a year. It was to integrate these lead systems into the CRMs, into the landing pages, track these things through the CRM, send signals back. But the good news is Facebook wants you to spend money on ads, right? So they're going to try to make this as easy as possible for you. So my main point is, if you're just smashing the boost button, you're wasting dollars. Or if you're just running traffic campaigns now to any random site, you're wasting dollars. And the main reason is both a plus and a downside. These algorithms from TikTok to Facebook to YouTube, they've gotten so good on predicting what your normal behavior is or what you're going to do, that if you ask Facebook, for example, to spend $1,000 so you can have people click a link, Facebook knows who's likely to click a link, right? So they're going to take your money and they're going to serve it up and they're going to get you a bunch of link clicks. But those link clicks today, maybe 10 years ago, I would have told you, try to send 1,000 people to a unique landing page. If 1 to 10% convert, you're making a lot of money, right? That sounds great. But those link clicks today are literally just clicks. Click and bounce, click and bounce. It is trash and money wasted. So, another problem on this is business owners get caught in the vanity metrics. And look, just to be real clear, I'm one of you guys. I'm guilty of this. I'm out on my own now. My Instagram following is abysmally low because I had to start the whole thing over. I realized I wasn't getting reach in my videos because I had paid for a bunch of followers, and that's a quick way to get yourself not shadow banned, but like it'll feel like Meta's got their thumb on your videos. You're getting no reach whatsoever. So anyway, I look at that as, oh, how do I be a marketing guy here? And I don't even have 250 followers on Instagram. So it's tempting to spend a bunch of money to like get that follower count up, right? Well, why? I would rather see you sending a real offer to the market, right? And then as people like your offer or as people consume your content and like what you're doing on the plumbing side or the real estate side or the RV dealership even, then they're following you because they genuinely like you. So the point is, if you're not in the practice or discipline or business of direct response marketing, you are likely just pouring buckets of cash on the clicks and it's going nowhere for you. And you're not Nike. You don't need to be, if you're in the $1 million to $6 million range, you don't need to be paying for brand awareness, right? I don't care what any 60 grand a year to 100 grand a year marketing expert tells you. You're better than that. We're going to be sophisticated marketers, sophisticated advertisers. We're going to focus on what our offer is, get it out there to the market, and we're going to focus on conversions, and we're going to use the Facebook pixel to actually track what this little happy person did when he or she was on your site, and we're going to load that pixel up, that little code profile, with all these people doing the things that we want them to do. Then we're going to give Mr. Zuckerberg a bunch of money, and we're going to ask him to go find us a bunch more of those. Does that make sense? Really important point. All right, number 2, you're treating ads like it's a lottery ticket. This is also, in general, as a business practice, you see a lot of people who get started on something and they just don't follow it through. This is kind of what I'm talking about. I've seen people that were really boost happy and they would love to just pour hundreds of dollars into getting all this engagement. And they thought, like fingers crossed, oh, there was $1 million payoff in the mega ball, whatever lottery's called. Let me get my numbers in there because if you don't play, you don't win, right? No, wrong. They're a surefire. I promise you. What's the market cap of Facebook? Let's look at that right now. Let's see. Facebook market cap. I promise you the 1.8 trillion with the T. I promise you the $1.8 trillion of money being poured into developers and AI is smarter than you. It's processing faster. It's watching you on every single camera device you have. It's listening to you on your microphones. It sees me on my laptop. It hears me in my pocket. And later when I put this on YouTube, it's going to see me there too. I promise you, it's smarter than you. And they have created systems for you to pour money into them like the little slot machine. So get out of the business of thinking of this like a slot machine. Like if I just get 10,000 views on this, if I just pay the $100, get 10,000 views, maybe I'll get more business. What I want you to take from this video is that you can advertise strategically. You can set up these tracking devices on your website. You can build these strategically designed landing pages with clear objectives, and you can build advertising campaigns so that if you build $400,000 investment properties, for example, you're finding people in your 100-mile radius that are interested in investment properties that are actually qualified and answer questions about like how much disposable income they have available or how much equity they have available to back an investment. Does that make sense? Think about this as a real thing. This is a real business. If you want to grow from in that $1 to $6 million range into 12, you're going to have to map out how many sales you need. If you're fortunate and you have a $400,000 sale, how many $400,000 sales do you need to hit that $12 million? And then to get that many sales, how many prospects do you need? So that's your lead generation. So I just did this math for the real estate builder the other day, and I realized if you do 25 builds per year, you're a $10 million company. So do you think it's difficult? Pop quiz. Do you think it's difficult to generate 2 leads, or to close rather, 2 deals per month using paid ads when you have a $400,000 payoff? So, presumably you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads. Do you think it's hard? The answer is no. But if you're doing it like it's a lottery ticket or a slot machine, you'll never win. Does that make sense? All right, number 3, you're using broad targeting, or what's actually more common nowadays is you're using some cliche targeting that you heard from like 5 years ago. So you heard that you could add in interest. You heard that you could add in income brackets. And yes and no. The difference is what I want you to be doing is strategic targeting. There's a famous saying in marketing where I don't want you to be right. I just want you to make money. I remember arguing with a CEO and his head of sales, and we were trying to pick a headline for an ad. And they all had these great, wonderful ideas, right? Everyone's got this fabulous opinions about marketing. Like everyone's a pro marketer, even though they've never done it. Well, the correct answer to that dilemma, or trilemma in that case, is run them all and then just let the data tell you what actually works. So what I'm saying is, in a very specific niche, like if you need qualified investors, very specific niche, maybe you need to target it on some demographic. But like if you're real estate at large, a lot of times you're better off going with a broad audience, but being hyper specific in your messaging. And then again, letting this $1.8 trillion company target those audience members for you and get that message out there. So this thing works when you do it smarter, not harder. Does that make sense? It is complicated only to the extent that you have to mentally piece together how a flow of building a creative, putting it in a campaign, what an ad set means, what exactly an ad is, what's this big scary split testing, what do I do when A wins or B wins, and then now that I'm getting leads, how do I send them into some automated follow-up so I can close these leads down the line, et cetera. That sounds intimidating, but when you actually spend time to write it on a whiteboard, it's not that bad. It's just a series of yes-no statements. Does that make sense? So as an added bonus, there's a point number 4 here. What I see people doing is they change their strategy too fast. So they'll go through and they'll run something for like a day, and they'll see something like in fact, today I got a message. I was getting charged $10 per message. And everyone will say, oh my goodness, that's too much. And then they instantly shut it off. Well, let me remind you, in our primary example here, you have a $400,000 product. Are you sure that $10 per message is too much? Have you let it run? Have you spent an extended amount of dollars on there to get a real test to see if you get real people on the phone to close those deals, right? So as a general rule of thumb, you want to let these things run for 3 days at least. And you got to look, if you're not putting $20 to $100 on this ad test, you're not getting real data. You know, when you see something like someone will give me criticism on a video and they think they have everything figured out and it got 45 views. You know how easy it is to skew the data on 45 views? So don't change so fast. Really commit to spending dollars on this and then testing it against your strategy and giving it time to settle in to see if it's working before you jerk yourself around, right? Does that make sense? If you want help with this, reach out to me in the comments. We could set up some real strategy around the pixel, the tracking, the landing pages, etc. We could figure out how to turn $1 into $3. I love doing this stuff. I do it all day for clients, and I'm happy to help you too. If you like this video, I want you to hit like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. I'll see you in the next one.